So, oops, see if it's working. Hi, everybody. This is Katie from the Greater Androscoggin Humane Society, and we've got Noah with us as well. This is the first pet talk that we are talking about cats, right?
Yep.
Yeah, you've done a couple about dogs with Maria.
Yep, there was some breed-specific behaviors, yep.
Okay. So we're excited to be able to talk about cats because I don't know about you, Noah, but I'm a little partial to kitties. They're my favorite. So I'm excited that we're going to be able to talk about some play behaviors and just some real simple like DIY enrichment, some of the things we do right here.
Yep.
And what's your role at the shelter, Noah?
So I'm a kennel technician. I usually do a lot of cleaning, behavioral enrichment, things like that. Just kind of all background stuff.
Yeah, the incredible important stuff, the day-to-day care of the animals, which is utmost. And he's doing a lot of enrichment with the cats, with the dogs, and we try to keep it simple and cost-effective, not surprisingly. So we utilize a lot of just the resources that we get donated and just keep it exciting and new for the cats while we're here. So we'll talk about that. So let's get started. So kitties are interesting animals. Would you agree?
Yes, definitely.
So we see a pretty wide range of behaviors here. We see shy cats, we see very confident cats, but they all have instincts. So kitties at home or kitties outdoors, what are some of the things you think that a behavior that a cat needs to do in the home?
It's definitely very important to practice giving them, they're hunters naturally, so they, some cats are mousers, so it's great for them to have that enrichment outside. Playing with them in a way that kind of excites them, gets them hunting for something is fantastic. So specifically, teaser toys, laser pointers, things like that are absolutely fantastic for keeping them entertained, making them feel satisfied with their life, like they're really doing something. Mm-hmm. It's kind of like with dogs, you got to give them a job, you got to give them something to do. As much as cats you might think that they love to just laze around all day. Sometimes they do really like just playing around, goofing off, and having something to do.
Yep. That's true. You're talking about the basic needs. Cats evolved as predators. They hunt to get their food. And so a cat in the wild, historically, or just a feral cat, perhaps who's living his life outdoors, they spend a lot of time trying to find food and secure food. So they're learning about their environment, they're seeing what's safe and what's not, they're finding places where the food is, and they're spending a lot of time actually engaging in the hunting process. So for a house cat, especially cats that are kept indoors, they still have that desire and that need to be doing those behaviors. It's just natural to them, it's innate. And without providing them a resource or an outlet for that, you can get some behavioral challenges and some behavioral problems, as well as just boredom, which is something we commonly see in house cats. They just don't have an outlet for that behavior.
Definitely.
And so we see, we get cats surrendered to us for a wide variety of reasons, but would you say we definitely get some that are behavioral? People don't quite understand what their cat's telling them?
Yes, absolutely. Cats are very different from dogs. I always say there is a difference between dog people and cat people. Dog people more want a child or something to take care of. Cat people are looking to take care of something independent, that it's its own little machine. You're really wanting to make sure you're putting a lot of enrichment into them, or it could come out in negative ways, such as destroying your furniture, going after your legs or ankles or something if they're not feeling enriched or satisfied with their life. So
yeah, and that's a really good point. Another just natural behavior is scratching, and cats are doing that because they're putting their scent on things in their territory. So if you see them outdoors scratching on a tree, or rubbing their cheeks on a rock, that's them marking for other cats to say, oh, this is Buddy's territory. I'm coming in, I smell him. And so they're doing that in our houses as well. And scratching is a natural thing, but it kind of can be a problem when they're scratching furniture that we don't want them to scratch.
Absolutely. There's a few good ways to get past that too. definitely suggest claw caps over declawing, for sure, or scratching posts. Usually once they have a designated area that they find really satisfying to scratch and to go over and mark and stuff, they will generally go back to that. So definitely keep that in mind. Scratching posts are almost always necessary for a cat, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah, and it just heads off a lot of problems. You know, have one when you know you're going to bring a new cat in, or you're transitioning a stray inside. You know, have it set up that the spots are already there and they're very attractive to the cat. Like, you know, rub some catnip on it. You know, make it exciting. Play with them near the scratching post. Don't force a cat to scratch on it. That can just scare them, and then they won't want to go near it. But make the scratching post something really desirable and exciting for them. Incorporate it into play and things like that will definitely help. So let me just look here and see. So we wanted to talk a bit about also boredom. So we definitely see people bringing in stray cats or owned cats that it feels like maybe there's some boredom going on with these kitties. And I think it's pretty common in cats to stay indoors just because they don't have that outlet to expend a lot of energy running around, chasing things. So we have to provide that for them in the home, as you said. So I know for myself, with the cats that I've had, the things that I tend to see with boredom, like if I haven't been able to play with them enough in the day, I see overeating.
Yes,
so
definitely.
They're in the food, you know, I've got an interactive food ball, which we'll talk about, but that's what they do. They're looking for something kind of like us.
Yeah, with COVID, I mean, I'm sure a lot of people have been eating a lot, you know, just grazing, something to do.
It is, you know, you're working along, you're like, oh, I feel like I need a break. What's in the kitchen? I'm going to go have a snack.
Right.
And our cats are the same. And that can be a major problem with obesity in cats, can lead to diabetes, can lead to other medical conditions, chronic illnesses that then require a lot of medical care and a lot of expenses for medications and such. So overeating isn't just something that we should ignore. You know, we really need to be looking into the root causes of it and make sure it's not something medical. If it's boredom, let's give them something else to do. Sometimes oversleeping.
Oh yeah, definitely.
Can be. Some of our older cats do like to sleep a lot.
Yep,
We've got 13-year-old Granny and 14-year-old Elijah, or 15?
Yeah, I think he's about 15.
15. He just went home today. But,
Finally.
you know, it's awesome. In the kennel here, they tend to sleep a lot. And that's okay. You know, I mean, older folks do, you know, maybe sleep a little more, and they've reached an age where that's good, and that's fine. But if you have a younger cat who's just sleeping all the time, you'd want to question, you know, is he bored? Is he depressed? Is there something medical going on? Definitely things to be thinking about, because cats sleep a lot, but they shouldn't be sleeping all the time. They should definitely have good bursts of energy. What about wandering around and meowing?
Generally, I've heard that they're looking for something to do. They're generally looking for something specific. If you have another animal in the house, or they're looking for you in particular, they're just kind of aimlessly, they don't know what to do with themselves. They need some more stimulation. I have a cat that does that, and I just call his name and he comes springing. So, I mean, they just need something to do a lot of the time.
It seems like he's seeking something. He wants to know where you are, or wants to interact with you in some way.
Yeah, definitely.
And also, we hear a lot, and I'm fortunate that mine don't do this personally, but it can be frustrating, is the Zoomies at night.
Yep. My cats are culprits for that.
Are they? So what do they do? What are you seeing?
Well, generally, I find that when I'm home in the day, they want to spend time with me. And if I'm more stationary, whether I'm, you know, working on my computer or playing video games or something, they will lay with me, they'll sleep. And then at nighttime, they just have so much built up energy that they just go crazy. I personally have 3 cats, all 3 from the shelter. And they're very young. All of them are under 2 years old, and they just constantly need something to do, for sure. And I found that catnip, a lot of people do say that that's very stimulating for them. All 3 of my cats fall asleep, and they stay asleep all day with catnip. So definitely be careful with that, because if you give too much catnip, it can either, some cats turn very rude, and they'll kind of attack you, or just attack or scratch things in your house, and some of them just sleep. So it's definitely, be careful how much catnip you're giving. That is a quick thing to go to when you say cat enrichment, but generally just be careful you're not overdoing it, for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. And I mean, cats are also nocturnal. So they're typically out hunting at night when they're prey, when the mice and the rats and, whatever else is out running around. So it's a natural time of day for them to be up and around and playful. Doesn't always coincide well with our schedules. So if you're able to play with your cats, give them some really good interactive playtime right before bedtime or soon before you're going to bed, hopefully that's going to tire them out enough that they're not going to be, zooming around at 3 o'clock in the morning, yowling their heads off, looking for something to do. It's normal. They're just doing their thing, and that's a sign that there's possibly some boredom going on. They're seeking out something to do. Okay, so let's talk a little bit about play types. So you already mentioned catnip. Catnip is, obviously a go-to for a lot of people, and you can have it inside little toys. You can get all kinds of different little catnip stacks or, toy mice that have catnip in them. I've got catnip bubbles that I can blow and they'll chase. They're a little scared of them. They haven't quite caught on to them. They watch them, but they don't chase them yet. But there's countless things out there that you can use catnip with.
Either loose or, just a regular white empty tea bags that you can fill. You can actually put those in, and if your cat's not super destructive and doesn't just shred it, those are great. I used to use those with some cats when I was younger, for sure.
Oh, that's good.
They're very cheap.
Okay.
Time a dozen, for sure.
Yeah, and the dried stuff does make a little bit of a mess, but usually they'll eat it, and that's okay if they're eating a little bit. They shouldn't be eating a ton. And you'll see cats outside, if there's catnip growing, sometimes they'll just be chewing on the plant as well. We've got a garden out front that's got some catnip, and we'll go and cut it and bring it in for the kitties here. And they enjoy it. Not every cat likes it. Some cats just don't care about it at all.
Yeah, and we also suggest don't give it to cats under 6 months old, because if they're not quite developed, it's not great for cats under 6 months.
Yeah, so then older cats for sure. And if you find a cat that loves catnip, use it just kind of in and amongst other playthings. Don't always rely on it 100% as that's what you do to play with the cat. They like variety and different different stimuli. So what I like to think about cats is cats are very much creatures of habit. They like a routine. They like to know kind of what's coming, but they also are curious. So that within their safe framework or their safe home, they want to have new things to explore. So I think it's, I hear from a lot of people, well, they have toys, but they play with them for a day and then they stop.
Right.
And, it's partially, it's just, it's no longer novel. It's something that's, they played with it, they know what it is, it's nothing new or exciting anymore. And so a week later, they might go back to it and bat it around and play with it, but it's not a new, ever-changing, ever-interesting thing. So we're, like in my house, we're constantly rounding up the toys, putting them away, bringing out some new ones, every couple of days, so that there's always this new, and they're not brand new toys every single time. They're just toys that they haven't seen in a couple of weeks.
Yeah, absolutely.
So that can really help. You're not having to constantly be running out or buying on Amazon, new toys all the time, unless, that's your thing and you like to do that, and your kitty's probably very excited about that. But you can, be very frugal and just rotate your toys. Also, the types of toys can be important, and a lot of it's, you gotta get to know your cat.
Definitely.
Do your cats have a particular type of toy that they like better than others?
Definitely laser pointers. Every cat I've ever owned has just been obsessed with laser pointers. You do have to be careful using those, though, because if you use it too much, they will become obsessed with it, and they'll be looking for it constantly. They'll think that it's going to just pop up out of nowhere. I actually had a dog like that who just kind of went a little crazy for a couple months because we were using it too much. Definitely just don't do it every single day. Make sure you're limiting. But it's the same thing with cycling the toys out and making sure to keep them entertained instead of just kind of throwing a couple toys out and leaving them there permanently.
Absolutely. One other thing about laser pointers is cats also want it's stimulating a hunting behavior. Like they're trying to catch that red dot. And at the end of the playtime, for cats that really have that strong hunting instinct, it's good to give them like a little treat or a little something, either a toy that they love, something that they can feel like, oh, I got it.
Yeah, instant gratification for them. Definitely.
Yeah, otherwise, we can tell, like if you're playing a video game or you're chasing something and you don't catch it, you can feel frustrated, like, oh, I really wanted to get it and I didn't. So this, we make sure that the cat feels like, oh, I did. I caught that red dot and I ate it. Or I played with it, or whatever I did with it. And there's all kinds of laser pointers. We've got a little sample one right here. Looks like a cute little mouse. And they can be a ton of fun with your cats. And I had a cat that got obsessed with them as well. So I had to back off. She had to be weaned off her laser pointer. Something that I like to listen to Jackson Galaxy and Pam Johnson Bennett. They're both cat behaviorists that do really awesome things. And they talk a lot about interactive play. And so I like to talk with people about that. Interactive play isn't just taking, getting a catnip mouse and tossing it out into the living room and letting them play with it. Interactive play is exactly what it sounds like. You're interacting with the cat through play. And my cats love this. And I found that it is by far, for tiring out a young cat, is by far the best. Just like 15 minutes a couple of times a day, whether it's in the morning when you get up, or midday, after lunch, or in the evening, whatever works best for your schedule, just making sure that you're setting aside those couple of 15-minute kind of play times to be able to really tire the cat out and really exercise their mind. I think it's just really, it stems off a lot of bad behaviors.
It's a great way to bond with them too. They see you as a companion, a playmate too.
Absolutely. And I think, especially for cats that have very high levels of, hunting instinct or just play, when we see them here, tends to be a lot of young males that are just a little, they're up here when they want to play.
Especially this race. Yep.
Yeah.
Definitely.
So, like Lemon Lime got adopted, came back.
Yep.
What happened there?
So he was not being played with, or really, he wasn't being enriched, I guess is the right way to put that. And he was actually jumping up on people's legs. The first day he was back, we had him in this beautiful catio room, and I went out to go say hi to him, and he jumped up and put his claw right in my favorite flannel and ripped right down, and he was like biting my legs and stuff, and that's only cute a couple of times. That really gets old very quickly. So that can be one of the many negative side effects of not providing enrichment sort of thing. So it's really important to do your research and make sure that you're enriching your cats and playing with them and stuff. But making sure you've exercised every single option you can before bringing them back as well. Because there are some habits that they may be annoying at the time, but they can be worked through for sure.
Yep. And we're here. If you're experiencing behavioral challenges with your cats, we'd love to talk with you and see if we can help you work on them. There's a lot of things. People think that cats can't be trained, or they think training's really only for dogs, but that's not true. Cats are incredibly smart. They can learn, and it just takes some time and some kind of sleuthing to figure out what's really causing the behavior and what's going to help change it. But we definitely would love to work with you on that, because there is a lot that you can do and a lot of amazing things, and you form, like you said, a really close bond with your cat when you've done that with them.
And you'll get to know them better and better, and you'll see what makes them tick. You'll see, you put two and two together and kind of see what they want to do, what they want to be playing with.
Absolutely. So I wanted to talk about the interactive play again. My favorite, you can do some things that are mechanized. So like if you're working a lot and you still want to provide something that stimulates your cat in more ways than just a mouse, a toy mouse on the floor, there's little things you can buy that they take batteries and they'll spin. And most of them kind of will just do it randomly, so it's not a constant thing, and just your cat just kind of starts zoning it out because it's been
predictable.
Too much predictable. So this is sort of random things, and they'll spin around and things the cats can catch. There's little mice, little fish that will swim, and you put it in water, and they have a little light on them. They look like little minnows, and they kind of swim around. The cats there love those.
Absolutely. We use those. Don't leave them in water too long because they're not waterproof, even though they're advertised as such. But yes, those are wonderful. There's also automatic laser pointers too. I think we forgot to touch base on that. Those are fantastic. I mean, some of those will actually spin, rock, do all those kind of things, and it's very engaging. And it's usually on a random timer sort of thing. So those are great toys.
Yeah. So that level of unpredictability is something, that's what's going to mentally stimulate them, not something that's just like, oh yeah, every day at 3 p.m., here comes the catnip mouse, and I'm supposed to bat it around for a couple of minutes, and isn't that fun? It's that novelty, it's that level of surprise that really gets them excited. And some cats they like to just bat around little things. Mine love the little crinkly balls.
I have to take those away at night. Yep.
Yes, they are noisy.
Very noisy. Yep.
But they're light.
Yep.
The minute you touch them, they just flitter away, and my cats love them, as well as the soft little pom-poms that are really light.
They make little styrofoam balls too. Those are all wonderful.
Those are good.
Those are good because they can also bite into them, which is just another instinct they have. They just bite on stuff just as much as they scratch sometimes.
Absolutely. And then I like to take, so these are two of my kitty's toys, so they look pretty rough. And there's a reason, because these are so well loved. But this is my little dragonfly. So it's on a stick. So it's a wand toy. And this is what I use at home with my kitties. This is going to smell like my kitties for you. And you can see it's been totally torn to practically to pieces, but they absolutely go bonkers for this. They love it. And it's horrible to say, but when I play with them, I'm thinking about what they're looking for. So they're looking for prey, right? They want to catch something, they want to kill something, they want to eat it. So my cats like it when I make this look like it's kind of a disabled bug that can't fly well anymore. So I think of it as they've already caught the bug, and they've somehow incapacitated it, and so now he's just kind of flopping around, and he'll fly and he'll jump a little bit. So I'm not swinging this thing around, I'm going along the floor, and he's kind of bouncing around, and they just love it like that. If I play with them in a different way and just kind of do it more like a normal, you'd fly this around, they don't like it as much. So I'm trying to mimic, and again, it sounds horrible, I know, but I'm trying to mimic. I'm mimicking a disabled bug, but they love it. And then they also love the cat dancer, which this is just a piece of fleece, and this is so chewed. I've had this for years, and every single cat I've ever had has loved it. And it's just a long piece of fleece, and you kind of play with it like the ribbon twirlers on parades and stuff. Yeah. So you can flick it around and fly it around, and each cat has kind of their own way of how they like to play with it. My cat Loki likes to climb under a box and then have me kind of flick it around the sides so he can kind of see it from underneath where he's hiding, and then he wants to reach out and grab it, versus, the other cat just wants to roll around and get all tied up in it. Yep. So each one of them wants to play with it in a different way. But when you're doing that interactive play, you learn that. Definitely. And okay, Lady Purrington wants to do this, and, Greta von Grumpelstein wants to do that. I had to say my cat's names because they're adorable, right?
Yes, super cute.
So, you just have to kind of find what's going to be best for your cat, and they'll let you know. You try a variety of things, and you'll very quickly learn what's the favorite. And then you can dole that out on occasion. Don't do it too much, like with the laser pointer, because they can really become, just hyper-focused on that and really obsessed with it. So you want to mix it up and try different things. Let's talk about boxes for a minute.
Sure.
Do yours love boxes?
They do, yes. I've tried to buy beds. I'm sure you all know this story. You can do whatever you want to do. Your cats are going to pick what they want to pick, and honestly, just giving them options is the best way to do it. And boxes are a huge hit. There's something about the scratching, the chewing, especially it's great for them for sure. It's a very cheap option too. Usually, if you order something online, you get a box from it. So.
Yep. I can never overestimate the power of boxes. They love them. And it gives them, it's sort of like a safe space. They can hunker down in it. They can kind of compete with each other over it. Who's got the box or who has the best box, and they swap. At my house, I think I literally have 15 boxes just scattered around.
That's awesome, yeah.
Because they love it. We can't throw them away because the cats lay in every single box at least once a day. It's really weird.
Every time I have a Cheez-It box or something, I have to put it on the floor, and my full-grown cat just goes right into it and just slides across the floor. it's not always going to be the most convenient thing for you, but it's what makes them happy. Definitely.
Absolutely, yeah. So, the house looks like a mess, but the cats love the boxes, so you know what can you do?
Absolutely.
Other things, so some DIY, just easy things to do. We all have these at home, right? Or paper towel rolls.
Definitely.
I've also used like the big cardboard tubes that the oatmeal comes in,
Oh, yeah.
rolled oats.
Yep.
So that's a big one. But anything that you can put, so if you punch some holes in it, just use some scissors or something and punch some kind of treat-sized holes, and then you fold down the sides on each end, and then they roll it, and the treats fall out of the holes. It's nothing that's super exciting or difficult or,
Right.
Anything like that, but it's something that's new.
It's cheap for you. Definitely. You can also put string in it too. Kind of like, there's a million things you can do with them, for sure. Creativity is, the cat's going to be creative the way it plays with it. So.
Absolutely. You can put catnip, you can put a mix of different things inside it. You could put a sound that they really like say they like a ball that makes a certain sound, but you put it in the tube and it's going to be a different toy. It's a new toy now, even though they love that sound. So, it's just thinking of different things that are going to be fun for the cat, stimulating to the cat, and again, changing it up frequently enough that it's not becoming stale and boring. There's also a lot of interactive food puzzles that cats can do now too, and we've got some of them here for the shelter cats.
Yeah, yep, there's one in particular. I have always had cats that I call it shovel eating. They just put their whole bottom jaw in and they just eat out of a bowl excessively. So there's this wonderful kind, I believe it's Catnip by Hagen Pet Products, but either way, if you look up upside down food bowl or enrichment food bowl, it'll pop up. So it's got multi-layers, and you pour food in the top, and they'll actually have to paw it down layer by layer. Absolutely fantastic. All of my cats would be obese if it was not for that thing. It limits how much they eat to only what they need to eat, instead of just giving them a big bowl which they can just devour, and it saves food, it saves medical bills in the future, for sure.
Yeah.
Those things are fantastic, for sure. There's also Catnip makes actually a lot of those enrichment things. There's one where there's a little mat with a bunch of little spikes on it, and it's great for. They have very sensitive cheeks and marking glands, however that works. And they just love it. It's fantastic. It gives them something to roll around. You can put catnip in it, and it's just a great line of products, honestly.
That's awesome. At home, we give our dry food in it's like a lime green plastic ball that's got holes, and we can change it to determine which size holes we're using, of how fast or slow the food comes out. And the cats just have to kind of bat the ball around, and food will drop out, and then they'll eat it. So again, it slows them down.
Yep, definitely.
For the cats who just shovel the food in. We all know them.
Yep.
We've all had them.
Yep.
And it just gives them that little bit of slowness, and again, they're having to mentally think, I need to go do this. And there are more complicated ones, easier ones, depending on your cat's own behavior. So there's a lot of different just food. And that makes me think of, we're selling we call them treasure mats or snuffle mats. And a lot of people think of them for dogs, and they can also be used for cats. Very similar to what you were saying, like with the little spikes. So it's just it's like a restaurant mat of soft rubber that has the fleece, little sections of fleece come up and you knot them. And so it looks like, kind of a real soft fleece thing, but you can hide the treats down inside between the little fleece, little knots. Treats, catnip, anything like that. And so the cat's having to dig around, smell it, find it. It can be, it can take a lot of time.
Oh yeah, that's like the equivalent of a calling for a dog. It takes a very long time for them to do that. It's wonderful to keep them distracted and keep them happy.
Yeah.
And that's the thing. We're talking about slowing down their eating, but it's also great for enrichment. This stuff is really, it makes them feel happy. It makes them feel like they did something for their food. It's really fantastic stuff.
That's excellent, and we're actually selling those mats here. They're DIY, so they're not put together. All the supplies are in the bag. If you go to our website, which is savingpetsinmaine.org, in our news section, you'll see little treasure mats, and click on that. So we are selling them to help raise funds for the shelter. If you want to, everything's cut out. All you got to do is just tie it and create your own pattern of colors of whichever your kitty would like. So let us know if you're interested in that. So anything else, Noah, on cat behavior, enrichment, things we do here at the shelter that you think people might be interested to know?
Can we mention introducing cats to other cats?
We can.
Okay, so I'm going to just go personal for a real quick second. The first cat that I got here, I've been working over here for over a year. It was probably about a month or two after I started working here. He was kicked out of his first foster home because he was bullying her full-grown cats, and he was an 8-week-old, just a little tiny kitten.
Oh, goodness.
He is a psycho. I had him for a couple months, and he was just, I love him so much, but he is crazy. He was constantly playing. I was giving him all the enrichment that he could possibly want, but I found out when I was gone, he was just meowing constantly, and I realized very quickly it was because he was lonely. I faced a little bit of the problem with that because, like I said, he was kicked out of his foster home for aggression with other cats. Don't confuse aggression with aggressive play. He is fantastic with other cats. The problem is the cat has to be up to the task. So definitely make sure you know what's going on with your cat. If you think that it's not able to go with another cat, at least, give it a try. Maybe if you have a friend or something, and, it doesn't have FELP or, any disease or anything like that. You can introduce, if the cat is really, really upset, showing you a lot of physical signs like ears back, hissing, growling, all that, it's going to be harder, but it's definitely, it's possible to socialize cats that you wouldn't think would be able to be socialized. A great way to do it is kind of separate them through a doorway. When you bring a new cat home, we tell all of our new adopters this, try and separate the cat, have it in a different room. Generally, if they have an interaction underneath the door, or the couple interactions, they'll smell each other, they'll get to know, like, hey, this is another animal, this isn't a person, and it's fantastic for, like, a slow introduction. It's fantastic for not preventing negative interactions, because once you have a couple negative interactions in there, that could possibly set how that cat feels for a longer period of time. So if you just you get a new cat, you put it in front of your existing cat, and they fight, it's not going to go well. It's not, they're not going to just want to see each other again, kind of thing. So it's really important to take your time with this kind of stuff, for sure.
And we do have, for those of you who like to read, there is a tip sheet on our website that talks all about introducing cats to your home with other animals, for dogs and for cats. And yeah, I mean, when it's done right, you can have new friends for life that just bond and are incredible playmates. So thank you for bringing that up.
Of course. And just to finish that, yes, he gets along great with the other cats. Because you keep them separate and they have positive interactions, they're going to continue that.
That's for sure. Awesome. So to end, I'm going to bring us over so we can see we've got Tony and Tad out here, and they haven't been too playful. I think they're figuring out what's going on. Hi, Tony. Oh, look how handsome you are. Oh, you're such a good boy. Oh, yeah. Hi. Do you want some love? Do you want some love? Oh, you're cute.
He's really sweet.
Oh, he is sweet, isn't he?
My brother's a little more reserved.
Oh, a little black and white one underneath. He's hiding. But Tony's saying hi to everyone. So definitely give us a shout if you're in the market for another cat. We've got plenty. We've got all kinds, ages and males and females and anything you would possibly want. So we're going to wrap up here, and thank you guys for joining us. Hopefully it was helpful, and please let us know any questions.
Bye, guys.